Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hound Tales podcast. I just wanted to touch real quick before we get started in this episode. Yes, this is another one. It's a little different. I do have some great episodes coming. Not that this isn't a great episode. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this episode, and I hope nobody turns away from this one. This one's really, really good. Sat down with Mr. Mike Greene from Cottonville Road Kennels. Yes, beagles. I know, a little different, but trust me, guys, man, we talk about some great stuff. It's a lot of great content in here. Just give this one a chance, guys, and be sure to listen. But before we get started, I do want to touch on something real quick. If you're in Virginia, even if you're not in Virginia, honestly, you could probably use it to be wrote in. Go to the Virginia Hunt and Dog Alliance page and be sure to keep a follow on everything that's going on, guys. They're doing a great job of keeping everybody up with the public comment section on these new regulations that they are trying to pass, and the main one that we are trying to fight is the one against hound dog trespass. Obviously, it's as bad as it sounds. I don't know exactly where they're going to be with it. There will be, let's see, this episode would be on Wednesday, so tomorrow, as this episode is coming out, May 23rd, there will be a DWR meeting. Supposedly, there will be no topics on the hound dog issues that are going on, but I don't trust it. So y'all be sure, if you can't make it your own selves, do like me and tune in virtually. I am signed up to speak. I don't know if they're going to let me in. I don't know if they're going to do anything with it. They'll probably can me, honestly, the way they kind of worded it. But I'm going to do my part to at least reach out and try to do it, since I can't be there in person. So we will see. But be sure to get on there and follow. And, we really need to write in on this public comment section. Get you do it. Get your mom to do it. Get your dad to do it. Get your dog to do it. It don't matter. Get anybody that can type it up, write it up, whatever. We need to be writing in on this when it opens, which I believe either is open now or should be open here soon. So, like I said, go to the Virginia Hunt and Dog Alliance page, guys, and be sure to follow and keep up to date with all that's going on. Also, before we get started, last little bit here, if you have numbers for the Turpin's Creek hunt in the Virginia Pen Series presented by Joy Dog Food, be sure to get me that money by Sunday, guys. Still a lot left on the table. Have had a lot of guys texting and messaging me about getting numbers, and so there's a long waiting list. Be sure to turn them in, guys, if you're not going to use it, and get paid by Sunday. I know it's a holiday week, so y'all go ahead and get paid up before this holiday weekend sucks it all away from you, because I know I'll be at the James River. And again, if you're going to be at the James River, y'all be sure to come by and see me. Let's talk dogs. Obviously, that's what we're there for. So I'm always down to say hi. If I haven't met you yet, I'd love to meet you, and hope to see some new faces and some familiar faces. So, all right, guys, I won't hold y'all no more. Let's get to the episode. All right, drop the gate, cast your hounds. Welcome, everybody, to the Hound's Tales podcast. This is your home for field trialing and deer dog hunting. It'll be stories and discussions on the world of dog hunting. So let's drop the gate, cast your hounds, and get ready for another episode of the Hound's Tales podcast.
Joy Dog Food is one of the oldest dog food companies on the market, starting back in 1945. Since then, much has changed in the pet food industry. But one thing that'll never change is our dedication to our customers and providing the best quality dog food while remaining consistent at the same time. Joy Dog Food is family owned and operated by Wade Kraskiewicz and his son Skylar. The two have worked side by side for years, providing superior customer service, products, and resources to pet owners across the nation. Here at Joy Dog Food, we pride ourselves on providing personalized one-on-one customer service to each person that calls, emails, or messages us. For more information on our products, to find a dealer near you, or to become a dealer yourself, visit joydogfood.com or call 800-245-4125.
If you're listening to this podcast, you probably have a need for dog supply items such as garment products, bark collars, remote trainers, name tags, field trial and hunting dog supplies, supplements and first aid, dog fences, used and refurbished collars, and much, much more. Where can you go to get that? Outdoor Dog Supply. Outdoor Dog Supply is a leader when it comes to Garmin Tritronics trade-in program. They were one of the first Garmin dealers to start accepting Garmin buyback trade-ins toward purchases. Outdoor Dog Supply currently accepts both working and some non-working units. Be sure to check in with these guys at Outdoor Dog Supply or at 757-482-1000. And their hours of operation are from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And if you're in the Chesapeake area in Virginia, be sure to stop in. Go see these guys in person. Outdoor Dog Supply is the leader in online sales as far as Garmin products go and your hunting dog supply needs. This is where I go to get all my stuff. Might as well join me in it. All right, guys. Again, be sure to check these guys out, outdoordogsupply.com, and thank them for coming on board with the Hound's Tales podcast. Let's get back to the episode. Welcome, everybody, to the Hound's Tales podcast. Tonight, doing things just a little bit different again. Not quite the Walker Hound running, but we are joined by Mr. Mike Greene from Cottonville Road Kennels. How you doing tonight, Mike?
Man, I'm doing good. How you doing, Jay?
Oh, man, I'm hanging in there, buddy. Hanging in. We just trying to get these work days done and take care of the little man. And it was a pleasure running some dogs last night, so I'm working on a little bit of a lack of sleep. But I think after a while, you kind of get used to it, right?
No, dude. I pastor a church full time. I hadn't slept in 10 years. I don't know what sleep is. My wife's like, you need to get some sleep. I'm scared if I do, I'll wake up in heaven. It'll all be over with.
That's right.
I don't know what in the world to do.
Wake up to great grandpa and, nudging you awake. Let's go run dogs. And like, oh, that's not right. Yeah. Wait a minute.
Something ain't right.
Let's go do it. But I think I missed something here.
That's right. Absolutely. I'm telling you, man. So, yeah, I feel you, brother. I understand completely.
Awesome. So, Mike, why don't you kind of just give us kind of a brief, like I said, we'll talk about the dog stuff here in a second, but, kind of just give us a brief overview, who you are, where you're from, and what do you do?
Well, Mike Greene, man, I tell you what, who I am, I'm a man of many hats, and but as far as who I am, that's my name, and I own and operate Cottonville Road Kennels, and we established the name back in 2014. We become a registered kennel here in North Carolina. We're located in Norwood, and which is just about center. It's about an hour northeast of Charlotte. And that's where I live. Where I'm from Montgomery County, which is right across the creek from here. That's where I grew up, and that's where I pastor at. To this day, it's only about 30 minutes away, but I like it here where I live here in Norwood. It's a good place, and but yeah, I have been into beagles for I've been into dogs since I was born.
Okay.
People, it's kind of hard. People say, how long you had dogs? I don't know. I'm 46 years old, and I really don't know. My daddy, I'm a fourth generation beagler. My great pap, my grandpap, my dad, and then me, and then my oldest son, my youngest son, he does it some too. But it's kind of a family tradition for us. My brother, he's a beagler as well, and so. It's kind of what we do in our family. We love running dogs. We love running beagles, but I grew up with coon hounds and deer dogs and dogs that would run anything, whatever we,
meat dogs.
The meat dog is just come out, just shoot whatever's in front of it.
That's
it. So what season is it? Don't matter. Is it legal? I don't know.
Well, we'll ask that later.
That's right.
We'll figure out how fast we got to get out of Dodge.
That's exactly right. Do we need to load and go, or can we stay?
That's right.
But growing up with dogs, we run everything, man. I remember my dad had he had some of the best beagles, and then he had some of the best beagle fox terrier or what's that dog he had? The rat terrier, not fox terrier, rat terrier. beagle and rack terrier cross. I'm telling you right now, if that rabbit was somewhere, he was gonna get jumped. Now they wasn't good at running them,
right?
But they could put them up on. They could get them on their feet, and the sorry dogs that he had, we couldn't run them. They just couldn't find them. And my daddy never dropped. He never dropped less than 20 on the ground every time he went to the woods. He wasn't like me. I'm telling you, we'd go down there and back the truck. And I remember me and my brother I was just tall enough to be able to reach the pedal and have my knee in the seat of the truck, backing it up down there toward the dog lot. See, my daddy didn't have a kennel; he had a dog lot.
Right,
you know?
right.
Just kennel stuff. He didn't know what a kennel was.
Yeah. I get that. That's exactly how I was raised. It was lots. It wasn't no kennels.
No, we had, and inside of those lots that he had was a variety.
That's it.
Of dogs. We'd back the truck all the way up to the edge and stand up on the tailgate, jump over the fence into the lot, and I'd pass the beagles over or the dogs over to my brother. And I'll never forget one morning we backed up down that road right there, and like I said, his old Ford Ranger, and I had my my knee in the seat, backing it up, looking out the window,
Right.
Looks so I could see over the window,
Right.
And we backed up down there, and my brother hollered that was good enough, and I'd jump on the brake real quick and put it in park, and I'd jump on the tailgate, jump over the lot right there. I was about 9 years old, maybe something like that, maybe 10. And we started. Daddy said, "I said, you want all the dogs?" "Yeah, I want all the daggone dogs." "Okay." Well, one of the deer dogs had got in the daggone pen sometime over the night with the
oh no
with the beagles. And we loaded every dog in that lot. We get them all. We load them all up, and we crammed old Foxy in the daggone box, with the beagles in there. And Daddy, when he got, we didn't have shock collars and tracking collars. We didn't have none of that mess.
Yep.
And so when we got to where we was hunting, Daddy just dropped the tailgate and busted doors open on that big wooden box, that weighed 700 pounds.
That's right.
You could only load it one time. That's right after you build it.
That's it. If you unloaded it, you needed 3 mules to get it off.
That's right. And then it's probably half rotted, just twist with you when it come off. But
right.
Anyways, had a piece of sheet metal across the top of it. But anyways,
probably old stolen road sign too, won't it?
It wouldn't have put nothing past my daddy. He might have done it. But he did. He got there and y'all ready? We was ready to go, and he busted the door open, and the door flew up, and here come all them dogs out. Daddy went running down through the woods, hollering at Foxy, "Get over here! Get over here! Get over here!" What in the world? He's cussing, raising cane. You put her in the daggone box for her. You said every dog.
Everything in the box.
You said everything.
Don't discriminate.
Yeah, I don't not know better. If I had left her, sure enough, I'd have been wrong.
That's right. You know it.
Oh man, he run her all down through there. Well, sure enough, she went down there, jumped the deer. Took about 7 beagles with her. When she
no. Now, what was she? Kind of like a mixed up Walker dog?
Yeah, she was a mixed up Walker dog, and she had. Luckily, she wasn't She wasn't real fast.
Right.
And Daddy, he never liked a fast deer dog, and so if I ain't mistaken, I think she had some. I believe she had some tree and blue tick in her.
Gotcha.
And I can't remember what else, but she had some mixed up stuff. But I know she was partly fox Walker. So.
Okay.
But I've had dogs. So like I said, I don't know when I got dogs. I just know I've always had dogs. And then I went for back early in my young career I worked for the state for years as an investigator. I worked for the prison department, and I worked for the sheriff's office for a little while, and that's what I did up until I went into the ministry full time. Left that career and didn't go when God called me to ministry, and that's where I went, and walked away from that. And but it was about 6 years there. I went and didn't have a dog. I had a lab and I had a Rottweiler.
Right.
But I didn't have a dedicated running dog.
Right.
And it was about 6 years, and that's all out of my 46 years. That's as long as I went without owning them.
Probably the longest 6 years of life too, won't it?
It was interesting. It was every time I think about getting back into it, I'd say I ain't got time, because I like to dedicate a lot of time to my dogs and give them every opportunity to be what I'm training them to do, whether it's coon or fox.
Right.
Excuse me, I ain't never had fox dogs, but whether it's coon or deer or rabbit or whatever I'm running.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So when you got back into it, what kind of dogs did you get back into? It sounded like y'all kind of had a mix, a little bit of everything growing up. What was the direction you went when you got back into it?
Yeah, well, old man, he mostly focused on that Wolfville Red bloodline. Whenever we was growing up, he liked that a lot, which a lot of people would call today in most beaglers terms, that's going to be a medium speed dog.
Okay.
And Daddy, he liked a good smooth dog like that. If he was running today, if he was living, and he had beagles, he would probably like the Ware Creek or something like that right there. That's a Green Bay's, the lower Green Bay speed dogs. That's what he would like. So when I got grown, Daddy got out of beagling when I was about 16 years old. He had messed his back up and he had some surgeries, and it was hard for him to maneuver the woods. Now he'd go sit and listen, but he didn't. He quit rabbit hunting. And my daddy was not like me. We are polar opposites as far as that. I don't care if I ever shoot another rabbit.
Right.
Because when I was growing up, it was you better shoot and you better not miss. And
That's right.
and it didn't matter if the dogs was running that rabbit or not. If you seen him, you kill him.
That's it.
And that's just the way the old man was, in the 80s, And
well, that was food on the table back then,
Well, that's right. That's exactly right. And it was, I tell people, my great pap, he ran for food. My grandpap, he ran for food. My daddy, he ran for fun and food. And then for me, more or less, it's just for fun. And it's just what I love to do, keep tradition alive. And it's in our blood, as a houndsman, it's just in there.
Yep, that's right.
So with that, I decided, I don't know, probably somewhere around about 2009, I guess it was around 2009, I decided that I was when I got back into dogs, I wanted something a little bit different. I wanted, because I always liked grade dogs. Like when I had my own, when Daddy got out, I got away from the stuff that he had. I kept my own pack, and probably, I don't know, six years or so. And up until about 2003, and then that's whenever I got out for a short 6-year period, or I say short.
Right.
But anyways, I'd always liked my grade dogs, but when I got back in, I wanted to go registered.
Okay.
I wanted to go everything AKC registered. I wanted it to be able to. If I decided to compete, I wanted to be able to compete AKC or UKC or NKC or whatever, PKC, whatever I wanted to do, I wanted to be able to do it. I did not want to be able to compete in PKC, UKC, and NKC, but not AKC. I wanted to be able to go across the board, everything. Well, the only way to do that is to start at AKC and then just register in everything else,
Gotcha. Okay.
And so, because AKC, you gotta be born into it, or either be able to prove that dog deserves to be AKC. They're very strict on that.
Right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take a second real quick and interrupt the show and talk about Cajun Lights. They have jumped on board to support the Hounds Tales podcast and the field trialing community. You got nighttime field trials coming up. I know I do in my series. Pleasure running at night. When you need to catch that next crossing, put your trust in Cajun Lights. Cajun Lights is made in America product out of North Carolina, who has been in business for over 25 years. They make cap style and bucket hat headlamps to free up that extra hand for your voice recorder or for your GPS. There are 3 main lights I want to focus on real quick. The first is the Micro Gator, which is the lightweight option. It has 4 brightness levels and 4 color options, including red for us field trialers. Rated at 50 to 60 hours of battery life on the highest setting, this is your flood style lamp that'll do really good for us out in the fields in the short brush and be able to help us get in front of those crossings. Next up is the Cajun Bayou, which is the next step up, and it includes the same number of colors and brightness levels, but it packs a much bigger punch. on that brightness level so you can catch those crossings way down the path when you got a long road to cover. And last but not least is the top level Cajun blinder. It has a main beam light with 4 levels of brightness and includes a walking light, and even with a light this bright, the burn life on it is rated at 5 to 6 hours on the highest setting. There's no chance of missing a dog with a light like this one, folks. All their lights come with a 2-year warranty and a lifetime labor warranty, and these guys are excited to get into our sport, ladies and gentlemen. So y'all be sure if you see me at a hunt, come ask me about them. I'll have one of each of these lights on hand to show you and let you put it on your head and kind of experience it. Show these guys some love, guys. And y'all please go visit their website at CajunLights.com, and their phone number is 888-773-3080. Thank you, Cajun Lights, for all you do and for trying to get into this sport. Like I said, guys, let's show them some love. Let's get back to the show, guys. Here we go.
And so I started there, but I was looking for a dog that ran like a great dog.
Okay.
And that was a run to catch style dog.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask is, as far as the beagle world goes, what did you mean by that? Like it's aiming to look at it kind of run?
That's right.
Okay.
He won't put his teeth in him.
I got you.
That's it. But I didn't want dogs that was just going to hit the ground and run aimlessly. I wanted to be able to hold that track for the specific purpose of overtaking that game.
Okay.
And if you look at the rule book for AKC when judging dogs and stuff, that's what they'll tell you. You're looking at a dog that's running it in a style that is conducive to being able to overtake the game.
Okay.
Well, that translates to the country boys run to catch.
That's it.
He's running that's his total goal.
That's it.
And I got a great respect for all styles. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
The Cranks Chicken bloodline, the Rob Diamond 2, the Trackman stuff that's out there now.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a great respect for those dogs, and I'm sure they catch their share of rabbits. I'm not questioning that in any way.
Right.
But I want the dog that you can hear him squeal now.
No.
I want to hear him squeal. And so that's what I focused on, is finding registered dogs that could do that. Well, I'll never forget it. I sat down here at Main Street Cafe with 2 of my hunting buddies, Dave McIntyre and Stacy Smith, and we was just discussing it, and at the time I had one dog. It was a dog named Wendy.
Okay.
And I'd got her from a boy named Jamie Murray out of West Virginia. And she was the kind of the matriarch of getting this Cottonville Road Kennel started.
Okay.
I had Rodney Rodner. He ran all these Walker Days and Black Tan Days and Blue Tick Day. He run all these, and he sold T-shirts, collars, just dog supplies and stuff. And
right.
He'd called me and said, "Hey, boy, I found you a pretty nice beagle up here. If you want her," he said, "I'll pick her up for you and bring her on down the road." I said, "Well, go ahead." I said, "What they want for her?" He said, $100. I said, "That's good enough. Bring her on down the road."
Right.
I thought it was kind of cheap, but it is what it is. Got her down here. She trained up nice. Got her out of the training pen, run like crazy.
Uh-huh.
Excellent. Turned out to be not perfect, but a really excellent dog. And so I used her as my measuring stick for years.
Right.
If they didn't add up to or greater than her, they didn't stay.
Okay.
And
I gotcha.
So that was now her specific bloodline. She was Indian Hills, had a little touch of Branco in her way back, but not enough really to be effective. She had some Northway in her.
Okay.
She was had a little gay blood in there sneaking around and all. So she was a little plethora of different bloodlines.
Gotcha.
So I started building up from there. And man, I tell you something, it was a hard process because I knew in my mind what I wanted. I would get dogs. I would run them with her. They didn't measure up. I'd give them away.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even sell them. I'd tell my buddies, "Hey, well, you want this dog? I don't want her."
Right.
Say, "Man, she's a good dog. Take her. Don't let me keep you from feeding that dog. Go ahead."
That's right.
Yeah. And so I gave away a bunch of them that didn't measure up. And
well, and I want to kind of touch on something real quick. I kind of picked up on something that you said, and it makes a lot of sense. When you said having that measuring stick, that's something it's hard to find. When you have something that you know for a fact, like you're talking about with that dog, that it's either, look, you either need to be as equal as this dog or better. man, people don't realize how much of a I guess an advantage that is to have at your house when you can take and have that measuring stick to look at, and now you know when you're going out there running, like, okay, you're not making the cut for me. You can probably do better for somebody else if you go on now.
Mm-hmm.
And man, that's
right.
huge. That's awesome that you got that at the beginning of all this.
And you got to be able to stick to your guns too, because as soon as we start to compromise, and I don't care if it's dogs or life or job or whatever, as soon as the person starts to compromise, they'll find themselves to be in a position of unhappiness.
Yep.
And as much as I like to be happy, as much as I like for everybody to be happy, I like to be happy.
Right.
Right. So the only people's happiness that goes before mine is my wife and my children, and so
that's right.
So I didn't worry too much of it. Like I said, I'd get a dog, run a dog, and I got several nice dogs from people. But man, I tell you what, Wendy would thump their daggone head in the woods. I mean, she would just blow by them. And then I said, well, you know what? Maybe I just need to start raising. Maybe I need to reach out a little further.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I need to do a little more investigating. Maybe raise my own. And a lot of times we'll get more of what we want when we just raise our own.
That's it.
Yep.
A
lot of breeders out there that understand what I'm talking about. Some people just, they say, well, it's easier for me just to buy one. And it might be. And if that works out for your schedule, then that's the best thing you need to do. Because a dog, when they're young, they need all the attention you can give them.
Right.
Regardless of what you're running with them, So I said, sitting down there at that cafe that morning with them boys, I said, I got to find more registered dogs that are run to catch style. And both of them sat right there and said, you'll never find them. They said they don't exist unless you're going to go back to grade dogs.
Right.
I said, boys, they got to be there somewhere.
Right.
And I went to researching, and I don't know who the fella is. They say Al Gore done it, but whoever invented the internet, I appreciate him. Because he sure did beat reading the Full Trial magazine, driving 6 hours just to find out that the dogs are dead of parvo. Happened to experience that. Drove all the way to Wheeling, West Virginia one time. Went all the way to Wheeling, West Virginia to buy two English red tick puppies. Coonhounds. Got up there, and the time I got up there, man, I didn't know how to get a hold to you, and all them puppies died of parvo.
Man,
what the world?
That's a long ride for that.
Boy, I'm telling you it was, but I did end up looking up while I was up there. I said, well, I ended up buying 2 puppies from a buddy of his. It was a little older, but that was all right. They turned out to be nice dogs. But anyhow, so I went to searching out the internet and looking, man, and I kept running. I kept just in distance, not really up close here local anywhere. I'd read about these Branco dogs.
Okay.
And I'd say, what the world is a Branco?
Right.
What's the deal with that? So I researched it, and well, I tell people today, people call me all the time wanting to get a dog this Branco bloodline, and I won't have one. They'll say, is anybody you recommend? Well, yeah, call Branco.
Right.
Right. Call Manitoba, Canada. I mean, call the man that started. It's done 50 years worth of line breeding to get it where it's at today.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm telling you, I tell people all the time, if you call him.
So that line's out of Canada then?
Yep, Manitoba, Canada.
Okay.
Yep. It's Branco and Frida Carpan, and then they are wonderful people. I actually had them on my Working Dog Wednesday show there on Joy Dog Food,
right?
And that Joy Dog Food sponsors. I had them on there. They was my first 2 guests, and
no kidding.
I was really privileged. And I'll say this: I've said it before, I've said it on my show many times. Man, there has never been, nor will they ever be again, anybody that revolutionized beagle breeding and hunting beagle breeding like those 2 people have over the past 50 years.
Wow.
I mean, it'll just. And the reason is, and I don't want to get us too far off on this rabbit, but the reason is because the internet.
Right.
Because now Where used to, you had to breed local, and or you bred out of your kennel if you didn't want to drive to Wheeling, West Virginia, and take your chances.
Right.
Everything stayed right here. Now, dude, I can pick up the phone, I can call a dog hauler and say, "Hey, I got a dog in Alaska. Go pick it up."
Right.
And I can have that dog to me in a few days.
Right.
Break Up and Frida, for all those years, they was right there in Manitoba. It wasn't, they was back into the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, and they was right there, and they had to create what they had envisioned, and they done it. And I'll argue with anybody over, not argue, but debate anybody over the subject. There'll never be anybody else to ever revolutionize beagling or hunting beagles like those two have over these years. And so that's where I wanted to go. I said, well, it seems like that's the route I need to go, because everything that I had researched on them, they were fast, they were smart, they were hard hunting, they were hard hitting. Main thing is, I done mentioned it one time, they were intelligent, and they were bred to be intelligent.
Had it between the ears.
That's right. And if it ain't there, if it ain't between the ears, they'll never keep that track between their legs.
That's right.
And
that's right.
So
when you went into this, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm trying to get you, kind of get where your goal was going with all this. Your goal was to compete, like competition hunt with these dogs, correct?
Well, that was not my original. Was not my number one goal. My number one goal was have a pack of dogs down there that suited me to the point to where I was excited about going to run them. Okay. Had something to work with.
Gotcha.
Because for me, making a rabbit dog is more important than making a champion.
Okay, I like it.
And if you ain't got a rabbit dog, I don't see how you can ever claim to have a champion.
No.
and I know a lot of people out there do, and I'm not knocking what anybody's got or what they got, and maybe somebody would disagree on me with what is a rabbit dog, but you take the coon dog world or the deer dog world,
right?
To have that sure enough dog that when you think back through your pack and you say, I wish I had more of this dog or that dog, those are the dogs that stand out in your mind, that rabbit dog or that sure enough coon dog or deer dog.
Yep.
Get it done when nobody else can kind of dog, you know.
Right.
And so that's what my goal was. Now, of course, I enjoy competition running. It is so much fun. I enjoy it. No question at all. I've never won the world. I've never done anything spectacular. I got 3 totes full of ribbons and trophies and stuff down yonder in my storage building. Right. I don't even have trophies. I don't even have them sitting around nowhere. I mean, you come down here if you want to see them. I got to go down there and dig them out of storage down there, because when I win one, I just go crack open the tote about 3 inches and shove it in there and shut the door. And nothing against anybody's got a trophy case. I just don't display mine, because my dogs are my trophies when it comes to hunting.
I like that. I respect that.
That's what I focus on, and getting to know Break Up and Frida over the years and buying dogs from them. And man, I've never got from puppies to running dogs that I bought from them over the years. I've never got one that didn't produce. I've never got one that didn't make a jam up rabbit dog. I mean, they just really got the market cornered up there when it comes to rabbit dogs.
Okay.
But going swinging towards the competition side of it, I love the hunter handler, hound and handler style hunting, like with UKC, it's kind of much like coon hunting. You strike your dog, you score them on lines, you score them on checks, things of that nature. I like that. It takes a lot of human input out of the competition.
So, break that down for me just a little bit here, because I've never been to a beagle. I've never been to a beagle hunt. I've never seen how it works, and I'm sure a lot of the guys that are listening on this podcast probably the same way. So I'm kind of curious exactly, I've seen videos and kind of heard stories and people talking about it. How exactly does that work as far as the striking and the on track and all that kind of stuff with these dogs?
Well, I'll just give you the cliff notes of it. Just simple this thing up a little bit.
Right.
So in the UKC, the hunting beagle format, that's what I love to run. And I've run others, but that's what I love to run. That's where I done spent many years and a lot of money
Right.
doing that. But so we get to a hunt. They'll cast everybody out. They shuffle up the things. They deal them out upside down. They flip them over and stick them to a card. They'll call out a judge. They'll call out a guide, and it's a 4-dog cast.
Okay.
We don't run in pens. We run in the wild. Dogs load up. Everybody goes to the judge. They get in. Everybody gets in a vehicle. They head to the field.
So it's exactly starting out like a coon hunt would be.
Just exactly.
Okay.
Just exactly like a coon hunt. And then you get to the field. You go over the particulars, cut the dogs. All right. Rules say that you strike on or before the third bark. And so after the first 3 minutes of dead time or neutral time, so first man strikes 100 points, second man strikes 75, and third and fourth strike are 50 points each.
Okay.
So it's much like a coon hunt. You
Right.
don't strike your dog when you hear him.
Okay.
And you don't strike him on or before that third bark, you're going to fix him to take a minus for not striking your dog. But then what they do is they go out and they got to make a full circle. And they make that full circle running that rabbit, and that rabbit comes across spoiler trail. Well, we'll call a line. And the judge, you got to have the judge and the majority of the cast there. So a judge and at least 2 cast members there before they can even score it. Judge cannot score by himself. And we do have hunting judges up until you get into the higher bigger hunts or at least at the higher level of the hunt.
Right.
Getting towards the finals. And then so the first dog comes through, gets scored 100 points, second dog 85, so on and so forth.
Right.
And that's the way we score that. Then you got your checks. Dog breaks down. Once the dogs break down, once they've been down for 1 minute, the judge will call a check, and then the dog that picks it up and the rule book says the dog that opens up honestly and returns the track back to running status is the one that scores the check.
Okay.
That's a 20-point increase for picking up a check.
Gotcha. Is that something you have to call out as well as the handler, or is that something that the judge makes his discretion on?
No, the judge handles that right there. The only time that a handler has any say on that or any input is if the judge says, somebody remind me of whose dog that is.
Okay, gotcha.
That's just say dog gets in there, yap, he's starting to move that track, and the judge thinks he's going to get close to scoring that check, he'll say. If he ain't figured, most judges, most of us, we've got that dog's about figured out by, unless it's an early check or something.
Right.
But he'll call for it. And when he makes a call for a dog, you say, yeah, that's my dog right there. And he'll say, okay, that don't mean you're going to get the check. It's just, he's just getting the dog's mouth straightened out in his head,
Right.
And so that's pretty much the way it runs, man. We do that for an hour at some hunts and 90 minutes for other hunts. It depends on the hunt you're at, the world and stuff like that. You run an hour and a half, but you do that, and at the end of it, tally up the scores, tally up everything, and you got to cast winner, and then your cast winner moves on. So that's about simple as I can put it right there.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that. I like that it's a mix of of dog and handler ability. It's a lot going on. It's not just it's one of the things. As I started listening to more podcasts and kind of talking and a little bit more with Josh Michaelis and listen and a lot of the stuff that he's doing with the Cane Stream Media stuff, I've really grown to appreciate the coon hunting side of the just because of how much it's adding the handler in there as well. I'm used to the deer dog woods and the foxhounds and that kind of stuff where you train, and then when it's time to compete, you send your kids to school and say, all right, go get straight A's.
Yeah. I
want to take a second and talk about Frontline Optics real quick, guys. They are a sunglasses company that is owned and operated by frontline workers, fires, and emergency services, guys. They have designed glasses with us in mind, with the frontline workers in mind, people that are out there using your sunglasses every day and don't want to break the bank and have a pair of sunglasses get broke and just be out of that that crazy amount of money. Guys, these are high quality polarized sunglasses that are durable, affordable, and ultimately represent our lifestyle. In addition to that, a portion of all proceeds from the sale of these glasses is donated to First Responders Children's Foundation. It is in support of those children who have lost a parent in the line of duty. How cool is that, guys? So, guys, check these guys out, frontlineoptics.com. Go to their website, and when you go to check out, be sure to type in the promo code HoundsTales. That's TALES. While you check out, and you'll receive 15% off your first purchase. Also, these guys have a first-time replacement, no questions asked program. Be sure to check that out, guys. These guys are awesome. I can't thank them enough for jumping on board. And we'll get back to the show.
Right. That's right.
So it's really neat to see in the competition side that the Beagle world has that as well. That's really neat.
Yeah, and then other styles that I've run, like AKC, the judges have you don't do anything except for unsnap him and snap him back up. They make all decisions. You don't have to strike. You don't do anything. Once the dogs get to running, the judges either ride horses or run. If they can, they'll run along with the dogs.
Right.
And, I'm actually vice president of our Beagle Club down here, the Rocky River Beagle Club, and they're not my style of dogs. I can't compete. I've put my dog in there a time or two just for fun and watch my dog get picked up because he's too fast. But which I just do it for fun or whatever and support the club.
So what do you mean when you say it's too fast right there?
Well, in your southern dogs, you're going the bloodlines are so different. You're going to run. Let's just say you're running a Rolf Diamond 2 dog against a Branco dog. Well, the Branco dog is going to do everything a whole lot quicker than what that dog's going to do. The Branco dog's he might give up a little bit of track to stay on track to keep it going. He may stitch it up, is what I call it. He might be sewing that line up while he's running.
Right.
Where the southern bred beagles are going to be more dedicated to running that track more methodically.
Gotcha.
And staying nose down. They're not really looking up and around. My dogs is looking to eat him, and so you can't eat him if you don't see him.
That's it.
so they're wanting to be up on that rear end pretty tight, and that's one thing too. A lot of people don't understand, and it's hard to get folks to understand it. And I know a lot of your listeners, and I've listened to a lot of your shows, and they're really good. And I
appreciate
a lot of your listeners are gonna be understand it maybe off of a deer dog perspective, but in the Beagle world you got, well, I don't know, I guess this is in all dogs. You're gonna have it's 3 speeds. You got slow, medium, and fast.
Right.
That's the 3 speeds you got.
Yeah. All
right. But the problem is in the Beagle world, and I'm not 100% about deer dogs or fox dogs, but the problem in the Beagle world is when you hear people say, well, he's a 5 or he's a 6 on speed, you know. Well, I need to know what gear he's in.
Right.
Okay. It's kind of like a 10-speed. You got one lever over here that puts you in gear, and this one over here changes gears within that one gear.
Right.
And so I need to know what category are you in, fast, medium, or slow?
Right.
Because if you're a 5, if I take a 5 from the slow and a 5 from the medium and a 5 from the fast, and I put them all together,
right,
you're going to have one dog. Right. Running, everybody else is running to that one dog. So there's a difference so when I hear people say, oh, I got a 5, I got a 6, or somebody asks me, my dogs, they'll say, my dogs run a 7, what's yours running? I said, well, I need to know what category you in. Because, right. And if they'll tell me their bloodline, then I can tell them. A lot of people will call me wanting to breed to my males or something, and then I say, well, what's your bloodline, or what category you in? Well, I run an easy dog. Well, easy is slow. So easy is the new word for slow, or low medium. Or I run a flat medium. Well, flat medium is a 5, dead in the middle of the medium category. And then, I run a high, medium, low, fast. Okay, well, and that's the way people will do it. So I just need to know what category it is. So if you got a dog that's in the slow gear, and you want to breed to one of my males, then you're mixing oil and water.
Right.
Because contrary to popular belief, There's no such thing as breeding this fast male to that slow female and making them puppies faster. You're either going to get one or the other. Most likely, you're going to get what she is.
That's right. I get that.
And so I, and I understand people's thinking on that. Well, I got one needs a little more nose, so I'm gonna breed her to a big nosed dog, and she's got a light nose. Well, you're gonna get one or the other.
One or the
you're
other.
Not gonna
I
get
can
it.
see that. Yep.
You ain't blending that.
Right.
Dog canine genetics don't work that way.
Right. That makes sense.
So
you talking about
it's
the
just
speed
different.
thing, in this world we call it. I would say there's 4. There is average speed, which just means he's there. He's probably gonna come across a crossing, 3rd, 4th, something like that. Above average speed is he may pick a 2nd or a 1st every now and then, but you're pretty much going to be 2nd, 3rd, or 4th most of the crossings. You got your stupid fast is what we call it, and that's your leading guys. And then we got the ones where you just don't talk about it. If you don't talk about speed when you're talking about the dog, that dog's slow.
If you ain't talking about speed, he's slow, so you already know.
That dog got a heck of a nose. When you say he got a heck of a nose, that dog is slow.
I like that. I like that. It's like when somebody you kill a small buck and somebody looks at it and says, "Boy, that's some good eating."
Yep, that's it.
They don't say nothing about his horns.
That's it. I got a shirt like it says, "You can't eat the horns." I love it. It's one of my favorite shirts. I wear it hunting almost every time.
That's right.
I love it.
That's right. Can't eat the horns. But that's the thing about speed and breeding's never breed just for speed, because you're going to if you breed just for speed, then what you're going to do is you're going to omit something, or you're going to miss something. So I breed for brains. That's that's my number one. I'm trying to mirror breed for brains. I'm trying to mirror breed for handle and hunt, you know, and control. Right. And the speed is the last thing I'm looking at, as long as I'm in my category. Now, obviously, if somebody says, "Hey, you don't breed just Crank's chicken female," no, I do not. I do not. So because even though their intelligence is there to handle the hunt and the control is there, you got to be in the same category. Don't date outside of your status. So stay in your status, stay in your lane, and you'll be a whole lot happier. And I don't care if it's boxing, I don't care if it's dating, or if it's dog breeding. You stay right there, you'll be a lot happier. Stay in your lane. That's right. Stay in your lane.
I like it.
But that's the thing about the rabbit dogs today is you've got just so many out there. And boy, I tell you what, I didn't get on Facebook till like, I don't know, it was a few years after all my other buddies that run beagles had got on there. You're not there to really mess with it, boy, when I did, didn't I find out some interesting stuff.
Oh, I bet.
Facebook beaglers, I guess deer dog beaglers or Facebook deer dog people are the same. Or I tell you, the old Southern way of saying "you stupid" is saying "bless." You read a lot of stuff on social media, and all you can say is "bless."
I love it. I love, man. You can tell too when you go on some of them deer dog pages, or even on some of the foxhound pages and stuff like that, and you can just watch guys. They got to be bored sitting at home, and they'll just bait a question. They'll put just put a random question on there. The next thing you know, it got 500 comments, and all these people are going at each other's throats, and the guy that made the comments just sitting back laughing.
Just tickle the day. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've done that a time or two. It's going, go on in beagle pages and say something like, "I don't believe a dog that ain't registered can run a rabbit."
There you go.
No, boy, I tell you right now, it's papers don't run rabbits. Papers don't make dogs.
That's it.
Papers don't do this. And so I get tickled with them, but I don't do it anymore. I used to, but I don't do it nothing. I focus on my page and my personal page, but I don't bait people. But I see so many guys. I seen a guy post on there the other day. What dog food can I feed that's gonna make my dog a better rabbit dog?
Oh, God.
Well, I want to put on there. Well, feed your dog food.
Right.
Feed Joy dog food. You ain't even got to take them out the pen. That'll be great. They'll sit right there and be one. You ain't got to send them to training pen. Just feed them Joy dog food. That'll
be the best looking one you ever seen.
That's right. Be a good looking. That's a good looking rabbit dog. Can he run? Boy, don't you know?
You know it.
You think a dog looks that good that can't run?
There you go.
What you talking about?
I ain't feeding them for no reason.
That's right. I tell people I can make rabbit dogs with wire wrapped around them. Just feed them Joy.
There you go. Just feed them Joy. I love it.
Just feed them Joy. Yes, sir. But that's, everybody's got different opinions out there today and different things. And in the hound world, I try to keep people focused on, even when I see something that's just like whatever. I guess it's just in my age range now. I let all them young boys do all the arguing on there. Well, some of the older guys too, they want to get on there and argue, but I ain't got time to do all that typing.
Yeah. And most people
not good.
Right. And the way people's got their opinions set, most of the time, you're not changing a mind. You're not going to go after somebody to change their mind. And now, if they come and asking questions, that's a different story. But if you're going on the attack and trying to change their mind, it ain't going to happen.
And even if they know they're wrong, they're going to stand right in it like concrete.
Yep.
They're going to lock down, toes down in the sand. And they're not going to move, even if they know, because now that it's a point of pride from that point.
Yep.
But you're right. When somebody contacts me and says, "Hey, Mike, this is what I'm thinking. What can I do?" They might call you up, "Mr. Hudson, this is what I'm thinking about doing. What you think I ought to do? What's your?" That's a person that's open-minded, and in most cases, not in all cases, but in most cases, they're looking to learn, to better themselves and better their kennel.
Yeah.
And I appreciate people like that.
Absolutely. I love getting those questions. I get, I had some boys hit me up the other week. And I was at work, and luckily, thank God for technology. I had headbuds, and I think me and these boys, they asked questions to me for about an hour. And I am not claiming to be no expert, but I answered as much as I could. And them boys they just absorbed everything that I could tell, that I could give them. And that's the kind of stuff that makes you feel good. And it put a respect on me, not on me, on those, for me, to those two guys, because they were willing to ask questions and learn. They didn't have that hard-headedness about them that was just like, all right, I was raised up, on dogs, and my granddaddy did it this way. This is the way I'm going to do it. It was, I gained a lot of respect for those boys that day.
Oh yeah. And when you see that, and people, when they're open-minded and they want to learn, that respect comes naturally. It's an organic respect that you have for them. Even if you disagree on certain points, there's still a respect level there of disagreeing.
Yeah, that's right.
I know many people that I don't agree with as far as style or this, that, or another, breeding practices or whatnot.
Fuel your dog with confidence. Fuel them with Joy High Performance 2618, which is made for adult dogs. High Performance 2618 is made with high-quality ingredients, with beef meal being the first. Our key ingredients include omega-3 and 6 fatty acids for skin health and shiny coats, zinc and vitamin E for a healthy immune system, and glucosamine and chondroitin for healthier joints. Whenever you feed your dog Joy High Performance, you can rest assured that you are feeding your dog with top-quality food, knowing that all of our products are 100% American-made with 100% American ingredients. Fuel your dog's confidence. Fuel them with Joy High Performance 2618. Call 800-245-4125 or visit our website at joydogfood.com to find a dealer near you.
Right.
But I can respect it,
Right.
And so we go on, and I respect them for it. And guys call me regular, and that's fine if I'm able to talk to them, or if I can take the time to get them. And they're, like you said, a lot of times I'm out working or doing something or on the road. I got Bluetooth or got my earbud in, and just chit chat right along with them while I'm doing what I need to do.
That's it. And and I think that goes, and that's that was one of the reasons I brought I asked you to come on the show is. I feel like we need to close the gap as houndsmen between the different forms of hound hunting. I was listening to the episode that was dropped y'all dropped on the Joy podcast the other day. I think it was your first episode with them, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, he did that back how it all started. Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
That's right. And it was a great episode. And man, the more and more I listened to it, I was like, man, and I think me and you kind of had that conversation a little bit. It was like there's so much listening to that episode, and if y'all haven't listened to it, it's the Joy Working Dog podcast. Y'all be sure to go listen to that episode. But the more I listened to that episode, I was like, man, there's so much the way you were talking. I was like, well, that relates to the foxhound field trialing. That relates to the deer dogs. Like that, there's so much in looking at the dogs and the way we have to analyze these hounds. And, even talking today, talking during this podcast, like, there's so much you can pick up off of just by, even though we're running two completely different style dogs, there's a lot that you can pick up off of learning from each other on stuff like that. And I think that's something that we ought to strive for is to close that gap on and bringing a like-mindedness to each other, between the two different forms of running.
If you love the tradition, if you love hounds, and then why in the world would you be in I guess opposition is the right word with somebody who also loves hounds, and maybe they run a different style, maybe they run deer and you run rabbit or whatever. If we don't hold together, the tradition is what's in trouble.
Yes.
My lights ain't going. If I don't have a Beagle 1 down there, my lights are still going to stay on in my house.
That's right.
If the man down the road don't like what kind of Beagles that I got up here, the style of dog that I got, or the hog dogs or whatever, if he don't like them, his lights ain't going to flicker in his house because of his dislike. But
right.
But what is going to be affected if he's a houndsman is that opposition will create animosity. Mm-hmm. And animosity always breeds some type of well, let me make sure I word this right. That animosity is going to always breed a breakdown in communication, and then a betterment one over the other, kind of a jealousy mindset.
Yes.
And what in the world good is that?
Right. Right.
I love deer dogging, I love fox dogging, I love all of it.
Right. Right. And and even, I catch myself sometimes, and I know I'm guilty of it. When especially out in the deer woods, I was raised on walker hounds. I love putting a government mule in the wind and making that sucker break through the bushes and crossroads and all that kind of stuff. And man, you put a beagle behind it, and it's just not the same speed. The deer's kind of just bouncing. I know there's some 3/4 and long-legged beagles that can drive a deer pretty decent, but you put them little 14-inch beagles out there, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go take a nap somewhere.
Nah, well, you need to get some Branco dogs. Yes, sir. You'll be like, hold up.
I need to come see it because, man, I'm not gonna downgrade nobody's dogs up here, but man, the last time I shot deer in front of a beagle up here, I had time to shoot the deer, go down there, pick it up, put it on the back of the truck, walk back to where I shot it, and then the beagle showed up. I said, man, this ain't for me. This ain't for me right here.
I know exactly what you mean. I know it.
Now, them suckers were giving, they were barking every breath. The woods was on fire. It may have been little sparks, but they were trying. And I'll tell you what, they were dead nuts on the track. It's a respect, like you said, though, it's a respect thing. It's not my game, but at the same time, I sat back and thought about it, and I'm like, man, I can't stand it. It's not my thing. But who am I to bash these guys or downgrade these guys when this is what they enjoy? This is the kind of running they like, and then you could take those kind of dogs and put them in a little small, 100-acre block, and you could run that 100-acre block in a circle all day long.
Mm-hmm.
There's a rhyme and a reason behind every dog out there and why people like what they like. And, I agree 100% with what you said. That's, we all got to be, and including myself, we all got to be careful about everybody can shoot the bull with people, talk a little trash.
That's right.
But getting actually like emotionally charged behind it, that's a different story.
Mm-hmm. Well, and all the guys out there that's listening, everybody's gonna know what I'm fixing to tell you is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
If you get you five full-blooded Bronco males and you train them to run deer, your government mule's gonna be doing the same thing. You're gonna be busting brush to get where you need to go, because they will check out and be gone. And here's the difference though, because look, you gotta, let's just state the obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Your deer dog conditioned and run up, and whether, I don't know what you do, run fox walkers or
I got two different packs. I got some of my field trial foxhounds that will run deer, but I'm actually got some old school stuff. I got some old school breeding. I got some tree stock dogs and some mixed up old school, just family line breeding, that kind of stuff. I don't know what the heck they are. I know they got some tree and walker in them. They probably got some foxhound in them. I don't know what the heck they are, but that's just long-legged, big, boxy-looking walkers is what I run on my deer.
Right. Well, you take not all beagles, but if you take the beagles and you run them, the difference is going to be is this right here. You can run that fox walker, or you can run that dog, that stocky dog that you got right there. You can run that dog from daylight to dark, and he's going to put in 35, 45 miles, whatever it is that they put in on deer in a day.
Right.
You're going to run that beagle, that 15-inch male, you're going to run him like that. If he's at top of his game, tip-top shape, doing it like he's supposed to do it, when you get to about the 30th mile in a day, you're gonna start seeing him start scaling it back a little bit, because they're not built
right.
They don't have the build. Their stride is going to have to be so much more than what a fox walker's is going to be to keep up that same speed. But they'll do it.
Right.
I mean, there's days we go out there and run rabbits, and put in 22, 23 miles in a day running rabbits. And then other days you go out there and you might not put in but 12. It just depends on how that rabbit runs.
Right.
It just depends on scent conditions and all that good stuff. But, I'm a member of a deer dog club. We run deer dogs down there, and I love them. And I'm always telling them boys, I tell them all the time, I say, boys, one of these days I'm going to show up down here with a daggone Bronco male and just eat y'all's daggone cake. You ain't going to get to take a water break. It's going to be on. Y'all going to wish it. Y'all going to be wanting to buy him, and I ain't going to be selling him.
No.
And, so,
no.
But, all in good fun,
Right.
But that is a difference. You're looking at a different body style of a hound. You're looking at the big dogs versus the 15-inch dogs. Obviously, you're going to be able to cover 30 miles and a whole lot better and a whole lot and be a lot less gas burned out in a 30-mile day than what a beagle's going to be able to do.
Right.
Right. But, there again, feed them Joy dog food. They'll run 60 miles a day, whatever.
He'll probably run 3 big bucks if you feed him Joy dog food.
That's right. He won't jump nothing but big bucks. He can smell the amount of horn they have on their head,
The Joy dog food got something in him.
That's right. Yes, sir. Y'all run out and get you a bag. And I guess I did.
People buying Joy.
Yeah, people's like, I can't find it. They sold out. Come deer season, it's sold out everywhere. But it'll be on the Outdoor Channel. Kill more bucks with this.
There you go.
But I guess I didn't tell everybody that I'm the host. Well, they might already know, but I hosted the Working Dog Wednesday for the Beagle podcast there for Joy Dog Food, and I've been doing it now for. Well, the end of this month will be a year. I think May the 3rd was the first episode that we had air, which was with Branko and Frida, and so it's been a year. I think I've recorded 30 some episodes, I believe, over the past year, and I have a tight schedule. I'd love to say I could get on there every week, but it's hard. But you listeners, if they're out there, they can go in there and tune in and follow it and all that good stuff on all the podcasting stuff, Spotify and Podbean and all that stuff. It's everywhere.
Yep, and it's a fantastic podcast too. And it's not just I know Josh does some episodes on Wednesday, and what's the other lady's name that does the podcast as well on the Working Dog?
That's Callie Simpson up in Kentucky. She's got Annabelle's retrievers, and she does everything labs. That's what she covers. She covers the labs. Josh covers the coon hounds and a few other treeing dogs here and there and whatnot, squirrels and cat dogs and stuff. and everything that I do is beagles, and I don't really get too far outside of that. I have different guests for different things, but I deal. So we got beagles, retrievers, and coonhounds is the main three right there that we focus on.
There you go. There you go. Y'all
And
be sure to check them out.
Callie has a great show.
Yes.
Yeah, guys, we appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, one of the other questions I had, I don't know if it's a popular thing down y'all's way or not, and I'm kind of curious what the difference is, or if there's a difference. And it seems to be a little bit up here. We got a lot of fox beagles up here. They do the foxhound, the fox beagle hunts. Some of the outside hunts. They're making their way into the pens and stuff like that. Do y'all have any of that down y'all's way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got a few down east that do that. Most of that you're gonna find down the eastern part of North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any here in the central, and I don't know of any in the western. The beagles that they're running those foxes with are the same thing that I'm running.
Okay.
They're running they run the cat style dog. They're running a dog with a good nose on him.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. Smart enough to keep it up. You got if you're gonna run a fox or a coat, you got to be slick, and so and you got to be moving,
right?
And so that's what they're running. It's pretty much you could take any one of my puppies and train him to do the same thing, and that's what he's going to do.
Gotcha. I was curious,
so
if
there's
it
not
was
much difference.
A lot of these tree stock dogs. We're kind of talking about my deer dog program. Some of these tree stock dogs, like so for example, the grandmother off of my tree stock dog was a purebred registered tree and walker, and that she wouldn't run a coon. She had no interest in a coon, but every time they turned her loose, she would run in front of deer. So they gave her to my dad, and and then the rest is history. But
Sure.
I'm assuming the beagles are probably the same way. Is if you have one that has a more natural ability to run a fox versus a rabbit, you kind of push it towards those foxhound guys as well, or rather than trying to make him or force him into the rabbit world. Would that be accurate, or is that something y'all kind of try to work out of them?
No, well, obviously, if we can break them off of it and keep them on rabbit, then that's what we're going to do, whether it's deer, fox, or whatever it is.
Right.
So that's just a point of training for the owner of what they're going to do. Now, take for example, if I get a dog out here and he's just bound and determined it's going to run deer, and I can't get him broken just a few times, then I know he's bound and determined to do it. That ain't no problem. I'll just switch pins.
Yeah,
you just go over here. Here you go. I'll send him down to my buddy and say, I got you a good deer dog right here. Ain't no sense in taking them away from what they naturally want to do. And you never know, man. I mean, some dogs you work with them, and you just can't break them off that fox or that deer.
Right.
Then hey, just put them in their wheelhouse. That's where they want to be. Put them in the wheelhouse and let them roll. Somebody will love them.
That's right. That's right. Now, do you
I've sold several like that.
Now, do you do any of the foxhound? I mean, the fox hunting stuff, or are you strictly on rabbits?
No, I don't do any. I just run rabbits with mine. I don't do any of that. Now, we have down here, and I think y'all do up there in Virginia and some places, but we have large pack hunts down here. They're not sanctioned. They're just friend hunts, buddy hunts. I did one as a fundraiser back in 2020. What year is this? 24. Back in 2022, I did a large pack hunt, and they paint the numbers on the sides of the dogs. And it was all rabbit, and we run them in the wild. We dropped 49 dogs on the ground that morning.
Is that score different than you would you were talking about earlier?
Yeah, it's scored just like a fox hunt.
Okay.
Just the same thing. You put the numbers on the side. When they come across the line, you score the first 6 or 7 or whatever they're going to do when they come across.
Right.
Write down the numbers and keep moving, and then tally up first place crossings all the way down to 7th place or whatever. There's no strikes, there's no jumps, there's no checks or anything like that
just
involved
a straight
in that
speed and drive event.
Speed and drive. That's it.
I
Just
like
speed
it.
and drive, and that's the way they run the fox dogs down here too in the pens, and coats and stuff. And but no, I hadn't. I hadn't ever been in a fox hunt. I did tell you a funny story. My buddy called me up one morning. He had some young dogs out running. Man, they had been running for like 2 hours, just straight hammering that gone rabbit. And he called me up and he said, "You ain't gonna believe how good these dogs is running." And I said, "I hear them in the background." He called me back 30 minutes later, still hammering.
Right.
I said, "I hear them." And they run around and around. They burnt that daggone cut down to the ground. He called me back. He was spitting mad. I said, "What the world you so mad about?" He said, "I've been sitting here listening to my dogs run a gray fox for 2 hours." He said, "I seen him cross the road." And he said, "There goes a fox. Here come all the dogs."
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap it up for part 1 of this 2-part series with Mr. Mike Greene and Cottonville Road Kennels. I thought that, for it being a little bit off topic from what we normally do, I thought this was a really good conversation. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and hats off to Mike and the Joy Dog Food Working Dog podcast. They put out some great content. If y'all have not checked them out, be sure to swipe over to their page and give them a good check. Make sure to tune in for their Wednesday. I think they do Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday episodes. So y'all be sure to tune in and give those guys a good listen. And for next week, we will be finishing up part 2 of this series. So everybody out there, I appreciate y'all listening so much again. Good luck to everybody this weekend and all the hunts going on. If you're at the James River, be sure to come by and say hi. I'll have banners up and all the sponsor banners and all that kind of good stuff. So y'all be sure to come see me, and good luck to everybody. And like always, guys, happy hunting.